So welcome to our Climate Wisdom live stream from COP30 Climate Change Conference in Belém, Brazil. We bring together delegates from the area of civil society, faith, science and policy making in order to care, to share and to inspire. My name is Sonja Ohlsson. I'm from the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative and I will be your moderator tonight. The topic tonight is women leading with ethics in the climate action. And UN Women states that climate change is not gender neutral. Climate change affects mostly women, loss of livelihoods, food insecurity, displacement, affecting families and women especially. So I have two women with me tonight in the studio, so I'm very excited to hear their views on this topic. And also in the past week has been developed a Belém health plan made by WHO and the Brazilian presidency, and they will focus on health, on the human well-being, but also on gender equality. So together here tonight we have Fernanda Sossai, a Brazilian environmental engineer. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And Maureen Goodman, Program Director of Brahma Kumaris in the UK. So you're most welcome and looking forward to the dialogue. So I'll start with my question to you, Fernanda, and introduce you. You're a Brazilian engineer with 15 years experience on the sustainable agenda, and you have worked on many sectors, energy, on economy, and you're promoting sustainable business models in many international forums. So, Fernanda, with your experience, what role does a corporate executives play in driving the climate agenda forward? Because on one side, the business and the corporate is very much criticized for not adopting the climate agenda. But can they play a critical role, and what's your view on that? And are many of these executives women?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for inviting me and for the warm introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, sustainability in the corporate world has been evolving. We've been seeing it evolving from being reactive, from looking for impact mitigation to reduce impact pollutions, for instance, to a more broad view, complete, looking for create shared value to really address nature and social challenges. And this is being incorporated in business models and business strategies because it brings the sustainability for the business, it's future-proofing business, and it's bringing long-term return. So we have like a business case for sustainability right now. It's something that's very important. You mentioned that the private sector it's being it's being challenged by the civil society in general to rise to the occasion, and me as a sustainability leader and a woman, I can tell you that that a lot of things are going on already, and in that way, and business and private sector are working on bring better results, positive results and long-term results to people and to nature. So it's something that's very important, and it will be seeing right now. It's a very interesting momentum, especially here in COP30 in Brazil.
So they don't have a sustainable agenda just to promote their image. It's actually profitable you say.
That's it, and that's the important thing that happened in the past years that really is changing business and the way we do business. Of course, that we have a lot to do and to progress, but we are understanding better. It's something that is evolving, and now that we understand, we things are moving forward and progressing, and it's becoming a part of the business strategy, and that's the important thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And Maureen, you're the program director of Brahma Kumaris in the UK and representative to the UN in Vienna. And you've been to many of our Climate Wisdom studios now for 3 years. But maybe we have never heard about your personal engagement in our environment initiative outside the COP. And even though Brahma Kumaris is not a business, it is a huge organization in 120 countries, and I don't know how many 10,000 centers we have nowadays. So it's also in a big organization, you can say.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. Happy to be here. Yes, it's something that's been very close to my heart for a while. And I think, first of all, maybe I'll say I'm in the UK, so I helped to initiate and set up our environment initiative there. And so that involves really helping our centres to be more green in their operations, promoting a plant-based diet. We also have a training quite regularly, several times a year, for green champions, people who want to learn about what sustainability means so they can champion it in their own centres or in their own community. And we have our national office, Global Cooperation House. It's a very big building, and so we've established a waste management system and so on. So I've been, although others of course are managing it, but I've kind of been the focal point for it, and pointing out this and this and this is how it is. And as you say, more internationally.
And how is that received when you point out this and this?
Well, they tend to be okay about it, but it doesn't always get implemented. So you need to sort of keep an eye, because I think people, unless it's something that you really feel, so much motivation is about what you really feel is valuable and what you really feel matters, and you're willing to go that extra mile or put up with that little bit of inconvenience, but not everybody's willing to do that. So we have resistance at times, of course, but it has been actually pretty successful overall. And then yes, it's my 5th COP, so I've been understanding more and more the message of spirituality and the relevance it has to environmental issues. And I'd like to think of myself as a sacred activism in this field. So activism that comes from values and from love. I think on a personal level, I follow a plant-based diet, a simple lifestyle, try to use as few resources as possible, and so on. And but of course, internally, spiritually, I feel it's so important, the vibrations we're giving into the atmosphere, that really does affect matter, and really does, people pick up atmospheres. So your thoughts, your attitude, your motivation creates an atmosphere. So I guess there are many levels of involvement. Right.
I'm sure we could use some of the peace in the corporate world, isn't it?
Yeah.
High pressure there sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Fernanda, how can the corporate world use more ethics and values in their work? And do you have a few examples of businesses incorporating ethics and values?
Yeah. What you do in Brahma Kumaris is quite similar what a leader in sustainability in a corporate would do.
Yeah.
It's challenging. We have to keep persisting.
You have to persist. Yeah.
And we are the ones that are here to bring cultural change.
Yeah.
Ethics and values in a corporate world is about culture. It's to build culture, to bring the values, and to support the right decision. By the end of the day, simplifying everything is help business to make brighter and right decisions. And how we do that? Some examples. First of all, bringing, I would say, decision-making frameworks that help this decision being based not only in profit and in economics, but bring the social and the nature issues to the decision. So, for instance, when a company will decide on an investment or on a solution or on a product, it not only look for what is the profit and the money that comes with it, but does it have an environmental footprint, carbon footprint? Does it use more or less resources, energy, water, waste, as you mentioned? What are the social impacts? So when ethics and values in corporate world, it's about making the right decisions. Therefore you have a strategy for that. So how now are we identifying the risks and opportunities in an adequate way, and we are addressing them now, so in 5 and 10 years our business will survive, thrive, and bring shared value. So this is something that corporate world is need to address and is evolving, as I mentioned before. And the last thing I would mention is to hold accountability, and that's something it's quite relevant, and it's not easy to do. The upper management, the board, the leaders of the corporate world need information, need that science, need to manage their operations, understand it, and so based on real information and good information, make the decisions and connect the business to this long-term view that brings value to society and nature. So it's a quite complex environment that we have to create.
So this long-term view that you needed is often opposite to short-term profit, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in Brazil, how many companies, is it 50%, 40%, 25% of the business world would have a solid, sustainable agenda? What's your guess?
Oh, my guess nowadays here in Brazil, I think that we have a very good momentum.
Yeah.
Brazil is an environmental leader in the world, and for a decade and more, we've been pushing the sustainability agenda, and I think that we are very being have success on advancing little by little. It's a complex matter. I don't have a number. I don't know if I should put 50% or 60%, but as what I'm seeing with more and more women leading the agenda, and more results that we get in all we are seeing this year of COP presidency and this week in Belém. I think that the private sector in Brazil, and I would say in other parts of the world, are taking part of the solution, and this is the something that we are presencing right now. So we're not sitting to discuss, we are sitting to bring solution. This is quite a shift.
Yeah. And it helps to have a woman as environment minister, isn't it?
Oh yes,
She's very spiritual. Yeah.
So Maureen, as Brahma Kumaris is also this big organization, we do have adopted our own environment policy. We call it environmental commitment, but it was long way in the making. It took nearly 15 years before all centers agreed. So maybe you want to share, how do we make sure that our own organization implement this policy and environmental care?
Yeah, on a worldwide. Well,
Yeah.
you know, we have our headquarters in Mount Abu in India, in Rajasthan, and I think that they really show the lead, actually, because we have a solar power plant, 1 megawatt thermal solar power plant. It's just increased its capacity to about 30,000, can serve 30,000 people. One of the biggest solar cookers in the world that can cook about 30,000 meals at a time.
Wow.
We're one of the single biggest users of solar energy in India. So institutional users, say. And so I think all of this has really inspired the whole community to look more closely at how they're living and how we're living as individuals and how we're running the centres. And so we really do encourage use of renewables and so on. And yes, we have our guidelines, which are very important, and I will just remind myself. So first is living with simplicity, very important, otherwise our consumption gets out of control. Buying compassionately, so we don't cause harm. Learning continuously, using economically, sharing generously, and leaving no trace. So that's the aim, to be zero, carbon zero. Of course, we're moving to that. But I think another thing that is so important is the way, as I mentioned before, how we're united on a spiritual level in terms of the meditations that will be synchronized worldwide, and many of them are for the earth itself. And you care for what you love, so bringing that love for planet Earth and all the creatures on it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Amazing.
And our founders, our original group in Brahma Kumaris, the Daddies, they were also very close to nature, wasn't it?
Very yes. They lived with a lot of love. They lived with a lot of love for nature. Yes.
And lived with a lot of simplicity. Yeah. And our the senior teacher, Daddy Yankee, she encouraged our environmental initiative when we started, right from her heart, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
It reminded her of her earlier days also.
It didn't, even if, she never liked to use tissues, she always used handkerchiefs, but she left us at 104, so, but just last couple of years she used a tissue, but she would keep that tissue, fold it, make it last the whole day. She was so attentive to the use of resources, and she'd pull us up on it many times.
So, Fernanda, you spoke about what Brazil is doing, etc. And now COP is happening, and we are in the middle of it. Today is Saturday evening, and tomorrow COP is closed. And we've done 1 week together here. So we have another week to go. But after COP is finished, what after effects do you see happening in Brazil? Will this climate change conference leave any impact on future policies and strategy for the corporate world?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a remarkable thing that to host COP30, to host a COP, especially in the middle of the forest. We're here, we are seeing what is happening. Absolutely, we expect, we have signals of policy, of regulations, not afterwards, it's already happening. As I mentioned, the journey to COP30, the pre-events all over the year, really helped building the momentum, and we have seen development results at the table right now. I mentioned that this important shift of the corporate world, that it is not sitting down to be part of the discussion, but sitting down to be part of the solution. And we've been seeing, and this is for me, is we're talking about COP of implementation. And I think that the private sector here in Brazil really incorporated this idea, and it's bringing and showing results already. Showing that we have model, we have innovation, have being able to develop technology, business model, financial models, thinking disruptively, so we can have the changes that we need.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, I can give some example. One of the things that that for me is that's been very very interesting and very strong this year and here in Belém is the understanding of what means to incorporate nature, biodiversity into business models and moving from what we can learn from nature that can bring shifts in the traditional way that you do business, that the private sector do business, what nature is teaching us. Because we are moving so fast with technology and AI and etc. But there is a very important thing that is to learn with nature. And I think that I'm seeing more and more understanding of that and really understand that the traditional way, the linear business models should shift to a circular business model. So, and it comes the circular economy and the model that we need, and it connects it with all the things that you brought earlier, and especially what means bioeconomy.
So I'm looking forward to see next year how a circular economy, bioeconomy is going to happen in Brazil.
Too.
Maybe you can set a good example for the whole world.
Yeah, me too. I think we are on the right way to do that, and I'm very optimistic. But again, there's a lot to be done, and we need this the COP30 to not end in the next week.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had not heard the term bioeconomy before.
Bioeconomy. Yeah, it's something that we can talk later about.
Yeah,
probably
Because
it
we
has so
have
much potential.
We have to wrap up soon.
Right.
And thank you very much. But before we finish, let's ask Maureen to guide a short meditation for the earth. Today we went on the river here, the river in the Amazon, so maybe we can do a meditation for the forest and the river here.
Yes, it needs our love.
Yeah.
Actually, we need its energy too.
Yeah.
So let us spend a few moments to reflect and to become aware of the spiritual wealth we have inside, and to be aware of the power of our own thoughts. Can I transmit the spiritual wealth of peace, of love, of wisdom to planet Earth, to Mother Nature, in gratitude for all that she has given us? Let my thoughts of love reach out to every living being, to the lungs of our planet, the river, the forest of Amazonia, and to all of nature. Together, let us replenish our earth and again bring harmony and happiness to all.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful. And thanks to both of you for a very inspiring dialogue. And I do really hope we can bring a good atmosphere to the corporate world. So thanks for bringing that up about the energy, the vibrations, and the ethics. So thank you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to all our listeners here online. And thanks to our volunteers and supporters making this studio possible. And this was part 1, a woman leading with ethics in climate action. So please stay with us. We play a few minutes video and then we take part 2 with a new guest speaker. So thank you very much. And tomorrow is Sunday, there will be no streaming. And then we start again on Monday. So thank you very much and good evening and goodbye from Belém.
Founded in the year 1936, Brahma Kumaris has activities in more than 110 countries across the globe. Located in Mount Abu, Rajasthan, India, the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University is a socio-spiritual, non-governmental organization, NGO, with affiliations in many UN bodies. It started with affiliations in the year 1980 with the UNDPI, United Nations Department of Public Information, followed by affiliation from ECOSOC, observer status in UNFCCC, UNCBD, UNEP, and recently in UNCCD. COP and COIS. Brahma Kumaris delegates participate actively in these events for providing spiritual dimensions to decision-making, action planning, and helping to obtain a more holistic approach. Brahma Kumaris is also an active member of Green Interfaith Dialogues. In 2011, Brahma Kumaris and World Renewable Spiritual Trust were recognized by the Ministry of Science and Technology as a scientific and industrial research organization. India One Solar Thermal Power Plant is one of India's largest solar projects with a capacity of 1 megawatt. It is functional since 2017. On an institutional level, Brahma Kumaris are the largest users of solar energy in India. It also stands to be one of the oldest organizations to work with solar energy in the country. The journey with solar energy started long back in 1996 with the installation of modular solar cooking systems. Soon, more research led to the use of solar energy in various activities like water heating, cooking more than 40,000 meals a day, using solar in almost all day-to-day activities. 350 solar photovoltaic battery systems of a total capacity of 1.4 megawatt peak were installed in different branches of the organization. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and United Nations Development Programme sponsored an awareness and training center on solar energy in Shantivan campus in 2014. The Brahma Kumaris have shared its best practices with other organizations to equip them with solar power. Sustainable Yogic Agriculture is an ongoing research program in which traditional organic farming with interventions of Raja Yoga meditation is being studied by many agricultural universities in the country. It has been recognized by the Government of India. Tapovan, a 100-acre dedicated farming land, is being used for the research to help farmers deal with growing agricultural issues. For more than 10 years, we have taken care of nearly 20 parks in Mumbai. Our very own Peace Park in Mount Abu is home to thousands of varieties of flowering plants. Our lifestyle, discipline of vegetarianism, is also a way of decreasing our carbon footprint. The Brahma Kumaris Gyan Sarovar Academy for a Better World was presented to Habitat 2, the second United Nations Conference on Human Settlements held in Istanbul, Turkey. It was recognized as part of the Best Practice Initiative for Human Settlements. Our vision is for individuals, governments, and global corporations involved in the environmental decision-making process to root their work in the universal spiritual principles and thus bring harmony, clarity, calmness, stability, and power to their thinking and interactions. It is the aim of the Brahma Kumaris to highlight the relationship between our awareness and the technology we choose. We believe that a holistic approach based on peace, cooperation, and love is the key to a sustainable future.